This creepypasta begins with a player telling us about an old PC game called The Theater, but tells us we probably haven't heard because a large majority of people often deny or have no clue about this game's existence. The player tells us that The Theater is an old game released around the time Doom did, and was available on bootleg CDs oftentimes, but not even containing the game. Apparently the actual legitimate copies of the game were released with blank covers with nothing but a sprite of someone called the Ticket Taker, who looked like a bald man wearing a red vest over a white shirt and black pants. The Ticket Taker was emotionless. The player even says that if you break the disc, apparently the Ticket Taker looks angry next time you look at the cover, but this was dismissed as an urban myth. There wasn't even a developer logo on the cover or any description on the back. The player tells us that the game was known to not install properly and that the game crashes while installing. Some people actually managed to install properly if you managed to reset your computer on the license agreement screen, and once the computer would boot back up, it would ask if you agreed or disagreed to this license agreement, and upon agreeing, the game would install properly. So the game would start up without any intro and would show a main menu that looked like a movie theater on an empty road, and had three selections: new game, load, options. Selecting the options would make the game crash, and load would not even function whatsoever, making new game the only working option in the game. The game controlled using a first-person viewpoint, and the player would stand in an empty movie theater lobby with the ticket taker standing in front of a dark hallway. The player tells us that there was really nothing to do but look at the movie posters on the sides or go towards the ticket taker. Upon moving closer to the ticket taker, a low-quality sound clip plays saying, "Thank you, please enjoy the movie." The player would then move into the dark hallway and the screen faded to black, and you would return back to the lobby doing the same thing again and again. Now, on the surface, the game seems pointless, but things begin to occur the longer you play the game. However, these events would still be random, so you never know how often you have to do the same repetitive task over and over. But the player described that it was considered very disturbing by other players of the game once they reached this specific event. So the first event the player would notice is that the ticket taker is absent. The player would then have to walk through the dark hallway, and this time the game wouldn't fade to black, but instead it would let you walk into the hallway and explore. Players would feel very uncomfortable walking down these hallways, wondering if something would happen, but eventually they would meet up with a dead end. Eventually players would see someone who looked like a ticket taker, except at this point having a swirl for a head. Players of the game reported that they immediately froze up and got stomach aches upon seeing the sprite. A loud screech would play and the game would glitch out. This would last several minutes until the game would spawn you back into the theater lobby looking completely normal. The game would continue normally again. However, for some players, after another few cycles of the same repetitive task of going to the ticket taker and walking down the hallway, the player would notice a swirly head man briefly appear in the corner of their eye with a quick yelp sound effect. After this, the players would then see the ticket taker moving back and forth. No animations on the limbs, though, and the ticket taker would have a worried expression on his face. Some players state that the movie posters now showcase the swirly head man, and as the players moved towards the worried ticket taker, a low-quality voice clip from the ticket taker would play. But it was so hard to tell what he would say. But general consensus among players was that he was saying, "Never reach the other levels." The screen would then fade out and players would return back to the lobby, with the ticket taker gone and the hallway blocked with a large brick wall. Touching this wall would make the game crash. No player knows what or how to access these other levels, or why the swirly head man causes so much fear. Supposedly all the copies of the game were destroyed or lost, but the creepiest part is that even away from the game, some of the original players still see the swirly head man in the corner of their eyes. Alright, pretty good.